UL Standard 508 addresses grounding and bonding equipment. Section 90.4 states that concentric knockouts are not listed for grounding purposes. Section 90.4b states that eccentric knockouts are listed for grounding purposes if they meet specific requirements. Firstly, the knockout must be made of a conductive material. Secondly, the knockout must have a minimum diameter of 1 inch. Thirdly, the knockout must be securely attached to the enclosure. ETL Standard 468 also addresses grounding and bonding equipment. Section 90.4 states that concentric knockouts are not listed for grounding purposes. Section 90.4b states that eccentric knockouts are listed for grounding purposes if they meet the following requirements. Firstly, the knockout must be made of a conductive material. Secondly, the knockout must have a minimum diameter of 1 inch. Thirdly, the knockout must be securely attached to the enclosure. To obtain a hard copy printout of these standards, you can purchase them from UL or ETL. It is important to note that these standards may be updated periodically. Therefore, it is always best to refer to the most recent version of these standards for the most up-to-date information. In summary, concentric knockouts are generally not approved for grounding. Eccentric knockouts can be approved for grounding purposes, given that they meet the necessary requirements, including being made of conductive material, having a minimum diameter of 1 inch, and being securely attached to the enclosure. Always consult the latest versions of UL 508 and ETL 468 for accurate details, as grounding practices are subject to change with outdated regulations. Understanding the distinctions between concentric and eccentric knockouts regarding grounding is essential for electrical safety and compliance. Ignoring these differences could potentially lead to improper grounding, creating hazards. The UL and ETL standards provide the necessary guidelines. It is important to verify that eccentric knockouts used for grounding meet all requirements specified in the standards. The conductivity of the knockout material is critical. A non-conductive material will not provide the necessary ground path. The size requirement, specifically a minimum diameter of 1 inch, ensures adequate contact area for effective grounding. Proper attachment of the knockout to the enclosure is also vital. A loose or poorly attached knockout can compromise the ground connection. Regularly inspecting grounding connections, especially those involving eccentric knockouts, is recommended to ensure continued compliance and safety. Electrical codes and standards are not static, so ongoing education and awareness of updates are critical for all electrical professionals. Consulting with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector is advisable when facing complex grounding situations or when interpreting standards. Grounding and bonding are fundamental aspects of electrical system design and installation, and correct implementation protects equipment and personnel. When selecting enclosures and related hardware, always consider the grounding requirements and choose products that are appropriately listed and labeled. Never assume that a knockout is suitable for grounding without verifying compliance with the relevant standards. Always refer to the manufacturer's specifications and installation instructions for specific guidance on grounding their products. Failure to adhere to grounding standards could result in electrical shock, fire, or equipment damage. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault current, allowing overcurrent protection devices to operate and clear the fault. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of an electrical system are at the same potential, minimizing the risk of electric shock. A properly grounded and bonded electrical system provides a safe and reliable power supply. In addition to UL 508 and ETL 468, other relevant standards and codes may apply depending on the specific application and location. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, contains comprehensive requirements for grounding and bonding of electrical systems. State and local electrical codes may also have specific requirements that must be followed. Always consult with the authority having jurisdiction, OJ, for guidance on applicable codes and standards. The AHJ has the final say on whether an installation complies with the code. Understanding the theory behind grounding and bonding is also crucial. Grounding is not just about connecting to earth. It is about creating a low impedance path for fault current and ensuring that overcurrent protection devices operate correctly. Bonding is about minimizing the potential difference between metal parts of an electrical system. Effective grounding and bonding require careful planning, proper selection of materials, and skilled workmanship. Regular inspection and testing are essential to ensure that the grounding and bonding system continues to function as intended.